with her sister.
Hello everyone, we have finally made it to the last video of the soul travel series. 3 months since I posted like, this series is over, nobody even cares. I'm sorry everyone, listen, I was busy. And every time it's like these kind of more scripted-ish, planned-ish videos, I just feel like I'm going to forget something I want to say, and then it unmotivates me to actually film the video. Anyways, it don't matter. We have finally reached the last video of the soul travel series. Will anyone even be tuning in? Maybe 5 viewers for this video, but it's fine, it's okay. In this video, we're going to do a little differently from our LA trip series, which in the LA trip, it was basically me talking about the things I forgot to talk about in each vlog, each daily vlogs. But for this video, we're not going to do that, mainly because my memory is gone. For this video, we will be mainly talking about a few topics when it comes to traveling to Korea as a foreigner, as someone who doesn't know Korean, as someone who is fat, and I mean American fat, not just Korean fat, worldwide fat. Anyways, as always, the timestamps for each topic will be in the description in case you just want to fast forward to certain parts. But I wanted to do this just for the memory, but also just because as I was researching, not that I don't think this video would pop up in people's research, but as I was researching things, or pre-Korea trip, as I was researching things as I was seeing on TikTok, I was so scared about the things I was seeing on TikTok and going there. I was so scared that I was gonna experience certain things, but then I felt like I didn't after the trip, from my personal experience. Anyways, but before we get into that, for those of you who may care about me personally, let me give you guys some life updates. Since it's been 3 months, everyone, my occupation, my position right now is unemployed. That's right, I didn't graduate yet, but I have just finished my last semester of university. And now I am just unemployed. And you may be wondering, Tina, well, it's time to get a job. And here comes my next life update. I previously went to New York. I just came back from New York a few days ago for the Yoongi concert. So I didn't daily vlog for that because I only went for 3 days, but I did kind of ish vlogs. So there might be like a 1 vlog thing for that trip that I'll be posting soon. And I will be going to Japan. So those vlogs are coming up, daily vlogs, and I know everybody fucking hates my vlogs. Every time I post a travel series, I lose more than 1,000 subscribers, but it's fine because sometimes you just want to post something out of the enjoyment of yourself, out of the happiness of yourself. Not confirmed yet, but my sister also wants to go to Vietnam, my home country. I probably will not be doing daily vlogs for that. I probably won't be vlogging at all for that because the things you hear about the pickpocketing and the robbery makes me scared. So I don't want to bring my technology out and about in Vietnam. Sorry y'all. And you know what? Half of that trip will probably be me just at my relative's house and them fat shaming me and them calling me out. Anyways, those are my main life updates, and you may be like, Tina, you're unemployed. You just went to Korea. Where the fuck are you getting this money from? One, most of it is from my life savings. And 2, I'm probably going to be in 10K debt because my sister is paying for everything for me currently until I pay her back when I get a full-time job. Will I get a full-time job? No, I'm not even in my job searching era unless, opening tabs up and literally not applying to anything counts as job search. Then I'm in my job searching era, but I have literally not applied for anything. And I'm like, if I'm going to go to Vietnam soon, I'm like, I shouldn't get a job yet because then I'll have to do vacation days, and they're going to be like, what the hell, you only employed for 1 month and you're already going on vacation? So I was like, okay, then it's my full-time job era after Vietnam. And even though I'm poor, I'm like, this unemployment life is kind of fun. But anyways, I've only been unemployed for maybe 1 week now, 2 weeks maybe, because I was a student previously. Now maybe 2 weeks I've been in my unemployment era. Anyways, that's all with the life updates. Let's get into the final episode of the Korean trip series. Korea, sorry. let's get into the final part of the Korea trip series, and then this is over. I don't know if I said this yet, but again, I do want to say thank you to everybody who's been tuning in to this series, especially those who comment. I love reading comments, and I also love replying. Sometimes I just don't know what to say, but so don't get offended if I don't reply to your comments. Sometimes I just don't know what to say. So I just heart it, unless your comments like low-key offensive, then I get scared. To the few of you out there who was tuning into this series, maybe you're not even here anymore because you're like, Tina, you haven't posted in 3 months. I don't even care about you anymore. You guys motivated me to keep editing those vlogs and getting them posted. You guys also me just wanting to upload the vlogs because I had a fun time vlogging and I had a fun time editing. I had a fun time editing the vlog and just reliving the moments that I now forget. Anyways, let's get into it. Let's first talk about not knowing Korean. Before the trip, if you need a refresher, obviously I did not know Korean. And obviously I know I'm going to a country. I obviously should know their language, but obviously I didn't. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just hard. And I also knew that, I don't know, either from TikTok or just Twitter, people are like, in Korean schools, they have an English class or whatever. So, you know what? It might be fine. You know what? I think we just don't socialize with people that much because our socialization with people in Korea was mainly, check in and check out when we're buying something. We're not trying to go to parties. We're not trying to party it up. We're not trying to, mingle with the locals because we're there to buy things and look at sceneries, things like that, basically. So obviously, if you're trying to party it up, there might be a different story. I don't know about y'all, but me and my sister and I were never in a situation where we had to use Papago to talk to someone, right? We never had to show them our screens or the translation. We never had to use this voice converter thing, which I was expecting to do prior to the trip, because I kept saw it on TikTok and things like that. But we never did that because, one, they knew English. Because sometimes you'd be checking out and they'd be saying things to you and we're like, oh, we don't know Korean, and then they switch to English. It's either that or number two, they keep speaking in Korean, but they're super expressive with their hands where you can kind of guess what they're saying. Like, for example, we were at a bookstore checking out and she was like, do you want a bag? She pulls out the bag, she points to the bag. So we obviously knew that's what she meant. So we just said yes. We just kept saying yes in Korean. Even when we're ordering if they don't know Korean, we're like, this please, in English. And I'll get to why we didn't say "이거 주세요." We'll say this please, and then obviously, what we meant, give it to us, we say thank you in Korean, we say bye. But it's not like we're holding a conversation, right? So that's why it's so easy. If they're still talking Korean, you can just guess and then make your way out when the conversation is done. When the transaction is finished. A traumatizing moment that we had with not knowing Korean was the very first long interactions that we had, which was with a older lady who was our taxi driver. We know Korean, she know English. We haven't installed our SIM card yet, so it was kind of embarrassing. And obviously we had to give her the address. So we didn't have fucking internet, we didn't speak the language. It was like, oh my god, we gotta find the damn address. But previously I screenshot it, so I saw her screenshot. I think she was having a hard time entering it into the thing, but after she got eventually, we were like, oh my god, thank god. And I remember, like, at the very beginning, because, we weren't accustomed to at the very beginning, when they were trying to put in our 4 suitcases, she was like, how's this gonna fit? She said in Korean. Obviously, I don't know if she actually said that, but it seemed like it. So her other taxi friend came over and put it in, and she was like, wow, you were so good to him, because he could fit in all the suitcases. And then we said thank you in English. And then she made a joke with a dude in Korea about how we said thank you. Obviously, we understood that because she said thank you, and she was laughing at us. So that was embarrassing. But after we left the taxi, we said thank you in Korean. So yeah. So I just wanted to let you know. And speaking of not knowing Korean, in our first Airbnb, we were kind of lost. And we were like searching, like, what the fuck? Do we go to this key box? Do we whatever? And then the security guy at the reception table came up to us and asked us if we need help or whatever. And he did this all in Korean. While we were talking English. I remember my sister showed the Airbnb instructions and it was translated in English. And then we clicked back to it Korean. Then he read it and then he understood. Then he was telling us how to go to our Airbnb up the elevator, and he did it all in Korean, but he was like very expressive. Like he was telling us, he was like telling us, I don't remember what he told us, but he was like using his hands as he was doing it, like acting it out. And then he clicked the elevator for us, and we just went up, and yeah. So basically, that's what I'm just telling y'all. Even though they will speak in Korean to you, they're super expressive, so you just gotta know. You just gotta understand what they're doing. So if you don't, maybe you're screwed, and that's when you pull up Papago. But I'm just telling y'all, like, it'll probably be easy to read and understand, right? Anyways, before the trip on TikTok, I saw a lot of instances and a lot of things on the internet talking about how, you know, sometimes you're like kind of bullied as a foreigner. And I don't know if it's because, you know, I'm Asian, Southeast Asian, kind of look East Asian, and everybody's personal experience is different. But when we were on the bus one time, there was this white family who came on the bus, and I think they didn't have the exact bus money, but both parties, the bus driver and that family, didn't understand what the number was. Like, they didn't know what they're saying. So there was a girl who was sitting in the front of the bus, and she pulled out her calculator and she put in numbers so she could show how much the bus cost. So yeah, I just want to show you instances of people being helpful, okay? So just in case you're like super scared, obviously there might be an instance that you experience where somebody is not helpful, but they didn't have the money, so they got kicked off the bus. Anyways, that doesn't matter. Anyways, and there was also a time that my sister and I were at a self-serve machine. Self-serve machine was great because sometimes it was kind of awkward ordering. And I don't know if that's because they're not knowing Korean, because we usually point to the menu and they understand, or because, you know, that's a different story about me. Like, a different social anxiety story. But anyways, so self-serve was always a good time because we could always just do it by ourselves, and there was always the English option. But this one self-serve machine in Myeongdong, which was strange because in Myeongdong, a tourist area, this self-serve machine had no English option, like no language change option. So we had to fucking translate everything with Papago, and it was taking so long because they kept asking us questions, I think, like membership and stuff, and it's like, let's just get to it. And we didn't realize there was a big ass line behind us when we shared the self-serve machine. So this older woman came up and helped us, and she was clicking it for us, she was clicking no membership, whatever, pay card, whatever, I'm guessing. And she spoke to us in Korean the whole time, but she just kept pressing it, and then we finally bought the drink. And then it helps because after I went to buy a drink, because that was just my sister's drink, but then after I went to buy a drink when there was no line, and I memorized everything she pressed, despite it all being Korean, so I just hit it right away. So I was like, thank you to that lady. Another instance of that happening, because most of the time it's like, they're speaking Korean to you, and you're responding in English, and they're speaking Korean. But even if both parties don't understand the actual words, we understand the premise, and we kind of get through it. Like this one time, I was buying a ticket back from this other province, city, back from Gangneung to Seoul, and the self-serve machine didn't work for my foreign card. And I was like, shit, I have to talk to someone, because I was so fixated. I wanted to avoid talking to someone that whole goddamn bullet train ride, the bullet train process, whatever. But anyways, eventually I got up, I went to the people, the actual service people, to buy the ticket, and I just showed them the navermap on my phone. It's saying the bus station name, and she like gave it to me. She never talked English to me at all, and she was like circling. She was like, this is this time, but she was saying in Korean, but obviously she's circling, she's doing motion, she's doing gestures, so it's obviously easy to understand. And it's also like basic concepts too, like I know how to take a train to this and what time this is. So that was a fast, easy process, super fast. And you know what, that's what I like. that's what I like about the transactions in Korea, is they just, you know, get that transaction done, everybody's done, finish, you know, no need for small talk, just get everything done. But you know, where's the human emotion? But anyways, sometimes you just want that when you're fucking scared. Anyways, moving back to the previous point, as you guys know, I had like Korean phrases that I prepared, that I told you guys about in the planning video. I had "이거 주세요," which means please give me this. "하나 주세요" means please give me one. But we have never used it at all. We never used it at all. We didn't use it at all. And you may be like, Tina, why? Like, it's not so helpful. It's because if we did use it, people would think we're Korean and keep speaking to us in Korean. Then we have to be like, oh, we don't know Korean. And then it'd be so embarrassing because there's always follow-up questions. So we never did that. Obviously, we spoke Korean, like basic Korean, like 안녕하세요 and 감사합니다, and we left. So instead of 이거 주세요, we just point on menu and said, this please, this please, in English. My sister used 이거 주세요 once, and then the lady started asking questions in Korean. Going on to transaction, you know, sometimes you just gotta get through it. My sister, whenever we're purchasing something, there was at some point after a few purchases, after a few days, my sister would just purchase. She would just be like 안녕하세요, and they will say something in Korean. She'll just be like 네. She'll just be like yes, and 감사합니다 리, and basically she'd just be like that, and it'll be like, oh yes, it'll be like hello, and then they'll be like, do you want a bag? She'll be like yes in Korean, and then you just pay, card, finish, leave. And that worked every time. The thing is, like, I could never pick up what they're actually saying because they're talking so fucking fast, and I had no idea what you want a bag was in Korean. So it was fucking hard. I never attempted that because I was scared. Like, what if they were saying something else and I said yes to it, and then they'll keep saying something, I keep saying yes, and it would be embarrassing. But there was one time in Art Box where he asked something else, and she had to be like, oh, I don't know Korean. And I think maybe he was asking about membership or something. We don't know Korean. But on TikTok, I'd be seeing there's like a bunch of memes for both Korea and Japan where you're doing transactions, you just keep saying yes to everything. Like, even in the comments, everyone's like, oh, I just said yes to everything. And then eventually the purchase is done. But in Japan, it seems a lot more scary because they ask you, do you want to heat up your food? Do you want to bag? Do you want to separate your hot food with your cold food? I'm like, what the fuck? That is way too much questions. So if y'all want to try that and just say yes to everything, then go ahead. I was too scared though. Anyways, I recently watched Five Sauce's NBC special where they went to Korea and they literally spoke no Korean. Like, they didn't even say hi or thank you in Korean. They were just literally speaking English all the time. And Michael was like trying to make conversation with the one cashier. But if you guys want to watch that and kind of see what it's like, I mean, I guess because they're white, so maybe they kind of expect it. But I don't know. When I watched it after the trip, and I was like, damn, I wish I watched this before the trip so I can see what it's like to shop around in Korea, you know? So if you want to watch that to kind of reassure yourself, then that's what I would recommend. Because, yo, they were struggling. When I think they shouldn't struggle that much. Like, girl, just point to the menu. Like, they're literally showing, they're at a restaurant and they're showing the waitress a Wikipedia page. I'm like, girl, just point to the menu. It's right behind your head. Anyways, that doesn't matter. I was just bringing that up if you want to watch that and see what it's kind of like doing purchases. In that special, you can also see like the cashiers and waiters. I thought they were like super helpful in there as well. Whenever they made a purchase, and if they don't know English or they do, they're still super helpful. So for this whole spiel here, basically what I was just trying to say is, you know, if you don't know Korean, you'll still be able to get by. If you're just trying to do like simple things, not like hold a conversation or like, I don't know, go to a Korean school or I don't know. You know, the only downside would just be embarrassing yourself. That's what I thought. Obviously, you know, it's obviously better and more respectful to learn the Korean language, especially going there for a long term. Unfortunately, I lack the knowledge and the motivation to do so I apologize. But at least I was only there for 2 weeks. But anyways, when I go to Vietnam, even though my Vietnamese is like low-key bad, I feel like I'll still be able to thrive. I don't know why I didn't put this in my notes, but there was one thing that I wanted to talk about was, since my sister and I literally look East Asian, even though we're Southeast Asian, people will literally assume you're just Korean. So if you want to look out for that, you can look out for that, girl, because it will be embarrassing. It will be embarrassing that they'll get so disappointed too. I don't know why, because it only happened to us. Literally every old lady in sight would come up to us and ask us for directions. Every time we're at the bus stop, every time we're at the station, they will come up to us and ask us for direction in Korean. I don't know why, because there's just like a million other people at the bus stop, and so they come and ask some directions, and we're like, shook. And this was the only Korean phrase that I actually used other than 안녕하세요 and 감사합니다, which was 한국말 몰라요. And I feel like if we said that, that means I don't know Korean. And I feel like they will also hear the very terrible Korean accents, me literally speaking in Korean in an American accent, but it works like a charm every time. It works like a charm. The first time that happened, I said that, and that lady 180 walked away. She was like, oh, okay, walked away. The next time I happened at a bus stop, I was literally just chilling there, and two old ladies come up and ask us, we say 한국말 몰라요, and literally no response. Like, they don't respond at all, and they just look at the map at the bus stop. And they're like, damn, it's hopeless. So, just so you know, if you look East Asian, people really think you're Korean and start asking you things, and all you need to say is 한국말 몰라요, and they will leave. And it's mainly the older ladies, literally just the older ladies who does it. Anyways, moving on from not knowing Korean, I feel like we touched on a lot already, right? What else? I mean, let's talk about now being fat in Korea. Now, obviously, as we know, from the internet, there is a beauty standard in Korea, which a lot of it is, being skinny. Before that, I saw a lot on TikTok. Well, first I searched it up, and I saw on Reddit about how a girl was literally stopped in a subway station and told by an old man how she was fat. Anyways, so that shook me. But obviously, throughout, like, social media, especially if you're into K-pop, and everyone's like, skinny, stick skinny. Everyone's like always in the comments and Twitter writing think pieces about the skinny standards and stuff, which, really shakes me. That's why you need to stay off social media sometimes. I always saw TikToks of people at that one place that has like bars, and each bar is like skinnier. The space inside the bar is skinnier, and you walk through it and see if you fit the skinny standards. And then people be so happy that they fit through, and I'm like, girl, what the fuck? Anyways, so seeing all that before the trip really shook me, and I was scared I was gonna be hate crime just for being fat. Thankfully, I didn't experience any direct face-to-face fat shaming as I was there. Maybe I missed a few people, like maybe somebody could be gossiping about it on the side in Korean, I wouldn't know. Or maybe somebody could give me a dirty look. I didn't see any, so you know what? As long as I don't see and hear it, it's good. At least nobody fucking came up to me and fat shamed me in my face and give me dirty looks. I didn't experience all that, so I was thankful. So sometimes you have to think about how social media mainly highlights the bad experiences. Like, obviously those experiences happened, it was real for those people, but you're gonna see it more on social media. Like, so it kind of scares you. Social media kind of scares you. But at least, I was more mentally prepared for it. Anyways, let's talk about other aspects of being fat in Korea. I got a direct message a few months ago. Sorry, I haven't replied at all. But hopefully I will reply soon. Anyways, speaking of Instagram messages, y'all, sorry, I did not be replying. Like, I don't even reply to my friends. I apologize, y'all. I'm just really bad. It just kind of gives me social anxiety. Someone who was also a plus size girl, I'm not gonna say her name because maybe she doesn't want this, but anyways, she said she didn't feel comfortable showing her legs in Korea and often wore long skirts and leggings and dresses in Korea. Basically, that's what she said. And here's the thing, y'all. I didn't really, I don't want to say have this problem. I didn't really think about this problem because there was another problem that came with, being fat, which was, it was steaming hot, girl. I needed the ventilation. I didn't care. So, girl, I was wearing short dresses. I was wearing short skirts. And to be honest, other than it being like super hot, I feel like that wasn't much of a problem for me in Canada, which is why I didn't feel super insecure about that in Korea. Because it's like, what can I change? Like, I'm not gonna lose half of the weight on my leg in one day just to go to Korea. So I was like, what could I do? Despite being hot though, like I was wearing a turtleneck, which was like kind of skin tight, so they could probably see like my back rolls, which I feel like that is like bad for trying to cool off. But I think it was mainly me being hot and also the fashion. Like, I planned these outfits, even though those outfits were bad and I stuck out like a sore thumb. We'll get to that later. Sorry, my father is telling insurance stories. So that's why there's intermissions. Anyways, you know what? You guys are just gonna have to hear my father speaking in the back. I don't care anymore. A lot of things I see on TikTok was mainly about clubs. Like, if you're ugly, sometimes they won't let you into clubs, or if you're ugly, people probably won't want to socialize with you in clubs. And I feel like obviously if you're fat in Asia, you're automatically ugly. So I think that's what also contributed to what I think the mindset will be like in there, or how I would be treated. You know, luckily that happened, but also I never clubbed in Korea. I wasn't there for the clubbing. I didn't go clubbing, so I don't know what that experience will be like. So if y'all are planning on going clubbing, let me know how your experience was, but I won't know what that is. So there was also a lot of TikToks about, people kind of like side-eyeing you because they're fat, especially if you go into a clothing store and you're fat. They'll be side-eyeing you and be like, what the fuck is this fat bitch doing in this store? You're not gonna fit anything, just get out, you're wasting all the store space. Obviously they didn't see it. I'm just exaggerating, y'all, sorry. I never bought a single clothing item in Korea. I wasn't expecting to buy clothing in Korea, so that never crossed my mind. Obviously, I went into a lot of clothing stores because my sister was buying tons of clothes in Korea, and I think that contributed to why I didn't have that treatment, because obviously they saw I was following a skinny person around in the stores, so I didn't experience that. There was a time though, however, where my sister was trying on clothes, so I was literally just standing in the store, and me standing beside the skinny mannequin, standing beside the clothes for skinny people, me just standing there holding her YSL bag. But thankfully nobody side-eyed me. I don't think they did. I don't think they were judging me. I don't think they were. But I didn't feel it. Maybe I didn't see it. To be honest, I feel like a lot of the times it's kind of nonchalant. I feel like most of the time people are kind of minding their own business, or they just like did not give a single fuck about you at all. I was kind of reassured in that aspect, and hopefully, y'all won't, if any of y'all are, plus size and going to Korea or any country in Asia, hopefully that won't happen to you, other than, the story about me going to Vietnam as a tiny fat child and being fat shamed by teenage boys. That's a different story. Obviously, remember guys, these are my experiences. It might be different for someone else, they might be different for you, so make sure you mentally prepare yourself. But I hope this does reassure you though. And you know what? If it does happen to you, girl, you're not going to see them the next day. You're not going to see them an hour after. Just ignore it. Just ignore it and walk away and go about your day. Anyways, another aspect of being fat was, wear good shoes, y'all. Honestly, I see a lot of skinny people say that too. But I guess some people weren't as impacted. Some people, as my sister, because she wasn't impacted at all. But for me, y'all, I wore Air Forces the entire trip. And, my feet was obviously, swollen. I was tired. I had to wear compression socks. And I'm just thinking, it's just because I'm fine walking a bunch. But I'm telling y'all, it's the Air Forces. Throw those Air Forces away. You don't need them for a trip where you're going to walk for hours and hours. Because after the trip, because we're going to Japan, I signed up for a gym membership so I could increase my stamina. Obviously, my stamina has increased a lot, and we're going to Japan soon, but I tried. It's the effort that counts. And I was wearing Air Forces for the first few days, and we're doing a lot of like cardio classes where we have to move a lot on our feet. And my feet was fucking seizing up. It was seizing up. I'm like, what the fuck? My feet is so fucking comfortable. I was like, is this just how it's gonna be until I'm a skinny legend? But then I actually bought these cheap running shoes, and I could tell like my feet was so much better. And then I bought another running shoes, and my feet was better, and my feet doesn't fucking seize up as I'm doing that anymore. Personally, I should have bought, because I bought Hokas. Hokas are expensive. They're almost $200. And personally, I should have bought the wide ones. And personally, I think I should have bought New Balances instead too. But I already worn those outside, so I couldn't return or exchange. So I was like, whatever. But anyways, y'all, wear good shoes. It'll be better for your feet. And also, to be honest, don't wear shoes if you're going to a hot country, because man, my feet was hot. I was so over wearing a sock and shoes. After, I was like, damn, I should have got something else. And that's why I got Hoka slippers. Hoka slippers. I think they're supposed to be a little bit orthopedic, but I think it's supposed to be better. So hopefully when I go to Japan, because Japan will probably be a lot of walking as Korea, I'll update y'all and see if the shoe really matters, if it really impacted me. Anyways, the next thing about being fat in Korea, or just in Asian countries, which is roller coasters. That's my first time where I experienced the embarrassment of being fat. The first time I experienced the embarrassment of being fat in Korea was because of a roller coaster. And honestly, that's gonna be me in Japan too. But as you guys know, I told you guys in the vlogs, we lined up for like a whole hour for a damn roller coaster, and it was just at the beginning where the guy asked us something about the seating. He first asked in Korean, and we were like, oh, we don't know Korean, and he was probably asking, obviously about me if I in the chair, because he was looking directly at me, and we said we don't know Korean, and then he was shook, and he did a fucking 45-degree angle with his whole body where he just fucking leaned and pressed on a wall. I was like, what the fuck? And I guess he was trying to make up the English words in his head, but he was like, the seatbelt doesn't stretch, so I'll take you to test the seat. Even though it was done in privacy, like, it was kind of obvious what was happening, and it was so embarrassing. Like, private or not, it was embarrassing. Like, but he took me back. He took me into it, and with my sister. And then they moved this changing slide thing, like, that thing, and there was a chair. It was just a singular chair with a seatbelt, and I sat on it, and obviously the seatbelt wasn't long enough, and it didn't stretch, and that was embarrassing. And then we left, and I was like, girl, you could have fucking told us this in the front after we lined up for 1 hour just for me to be embarrassed. Anyways, other than that, I will say that regarding seats, there wasn't, I feel like it's like small things, like for example, if we're on the bus, so I've been on Toronto bus and New York bus. New York bus chairs are super spacious, Toronto bus is like regular, and then Korean buses are like a little tight, so if you got a big ass, it might be tight for you, because there's always like a seat blocking thing, a seat armrest. It's not an armrest even, it's just a damn thing above, going above the seat to push you, leave you in the chair so you don't fucking slip out. They don't have that in New York and Toronto, so you're always gonna have to squish your ass in there if you have a big ass. Luckily, I could squish my butt in there with no shame. And then the next thing is, obviously, if you're seeing all this stuff about skinny beauty standards on the internet, you go there and you're like so scared. I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna be the only fat person in Korea. Everybody's gonna be super skinny. K-pop idols are not a reflection of the people in Korea, is what I'm trying to say. So y'all, we need to put that mindset away. Yes, most of the people were skinny, but yes, there were people who weren't skinny. Mainly, there was a lot of men who weren't like skinny. But obviously, it's the women who will probably be more judged if they aren't skinny. A lot of women skinny, but there are also occasionally times where you would see people who weren't. Like, they'll be mid-size, American mid-size. So obviously still skinnier than me. Anyways, let's get away from that talk. I think I spoke enough. Let's talk about other things. Other things that was different from the American life. And that includes Canadian, because I'm Canadian, which is safety. On TikTok, everyone is always talking about how Korea is so safe in terms of like stealing or stuff. I don't know. Like, you could leave your laptop at a cafe and go to the bathroom, or literally go somewhere else and they won't steal it. Safety in terms of the nighttime, though, I don't know what to tell y'all, because we weren't out like demon hours, you know what I mean? And I'd be seeing TikToks about girls getting followed by men and stuff, like random men at night. Thankfully we didn't experience that, but stay safe out there, y'all. Anyways, for the most part, in terms of encounters with people, I think for the most part we felt safe. Like, we didn't feel like we were gonna get robbed, we didn't feel like we were gonna get mugged. Fortunately, we didn't feel like we were gonna get followed, and I saw a lot of TikToks about that, y'all. So still be safe out there. For the most part, we felt safe, but I felt uncomfortable just because I'm not used to it. Just because I'm not used to it. It's a homogeneous, as they say, country. Homogeneous. I thought it was pronounced homogeneous, but the internet says homogeneous. And you know what? It's like, what can they do? Yeah, right? This is not me trying to complain, but I'm just saying the shift from me in Canada, me in Toronto, a very populated and diverse city, to me in Seoul, a very homogeneous, everyone basically almost looks the same. It was different. And that's why I feel like, I don't know, I just belong in a diverse city like Toronto, because I literally went to New York, and even though I'm like scared of New York, scared of America, because guns and the scary people that you see on TikTok, that I was scared about that, but I wasn't scared about being uncomfortable and left out and being different, because diversity, man, I was like, yes, I love seeing. It's just like, it feels good to be in a diverse place, because then seeing not only different body shapes, but different races, different sizes, different looks, different styles, things like that. It just feels, I feel more secure in my own body, you know what I mean? And I'm like bracing myself to feel the same uncomfortableness when I go to Japan and Korea again, because we're going to Korea after. Anyways, also in Vietnam, like, oh, I don't want to go to Vietnam, y'all. Anyways, something that also happened in Korea that I saw a lot was, or what I thought I saw was, I was literally walking in my neighborhood to the station and I saw so many Nazi signs. And I was like, is this the Nazi sign? Is it? Then so I had to search it up. I was like, why are there so many Nazi signs in Korea? And there was somebody else saying that too. And they're like, well, this was a sign for something religious before the Nazis, you know, colonized, for the Nazis appropriated that and took it for themselves. And then the whole controversy with that member from Twice happened after my trip about the Nazi sign. And then people were bringing that up again. They were talking about how there's actually supposed to be dots in the sign, so it doesn't represent the actual Nazi sign. And I don't remember if there were dots in it or not. But anyways, y'all, I'm just letting y'all know that in case you see a Nazi sign and you're like, whoa, what's going on? Why is this here? I don't know. I was shook. Back to other safety. Walking at night was scary because I don't remember there was a lot of lights, but oftentimes you're literally walking on the road. There's not a lot of sidewalks sometimes, and you're walking on hills and stuff, and there's like motorcycles passing you literally 1 inch away. But overall, if I was thinking like, this feels like good. this feels good. Like, if I knew the Korean language, I feel like I could solo travel to Korea. If I knew the Korean language, maybe if I was a skinny legend, who knows? But yeah. Anyways, but like in terms of safety and stuff, like I felt like this was like good for solo traveling. Moving on to the next topic, which is navigation, which, as you know, I am a navigation genius. I am a public transportation navigation genius, not in the terms of I know what streets are which, but in terms that I can navigate on my phone in Toronto, in New York, and so if your city doesn't have public transportation or a bad system, then you need to fix that. Because LA was a mess. Anyways. Sorry. I thrive off public transportation because I don't know how to drive and I'm too scared to get my driver's license. So maybe that's a problem within me. Anyways, I remember before TikTok, everyone's like, there's so many buses, it's gonna be so confusing because there's so many buses, it's gonna be so confusing. So download this app, download this app, download this app. I guess because I come from a transportation city as well, public transportation city, I know. Like maybe if you're coming one that doesn't really have good transportation and you don't public transportation and you mainly drive, it will be harder for you to take public transportation in Korea. But for me, it was like a breeze for me and my sister and I. It was a breeze. And everyone's like, download this app, download navermap, download kakao map, download this app for the subway, download this app for subway, download this. I'm like, girl, why are you trying to use up all my storage space? Because after in Korea, we literally just used one app and one app alone, which was navermap. We didn't use no other app. We didn't even use Kakao Map. I didn't like Kakao Map's interface. I like navermap, so I chose navermap. But literally, that's all we needed. And you might be like, Tina, well, you were just in Seoul. Y'all, remember, I went to a whole another province. Or city. I don't know what it's called. And I made it through. Listen, okay? Obviously, I didn't travel a lot. But, like, if you're doing basic tourist shopping travel, like, if you're just going to the basic tourist areas, like Hongdae. Oh, shit. My camera died. If you're just going to basic tourist travel destinations like Hongdae or Myeongdong, Gangnam, whatever, girl, you literally just need navermap and call it a day. Because it was so easy. Literally, every time we were doing transportation, every time we were going somewhere, it was just us and navermap. Like this girl, it was just us. Just us, nothing else. We didn't have to ask anyone for directions. We didn't have to download another app. We didn't have to search something up, girl. It's just us and navermap. I love you, navermap. Love you. The buses weren't confusing because it was like Toronto, girl. We just tap on, tap off, finish. And you know what? A lot of times, if you like don't know what to do, literally just watch what people do. Watch them and follow them. Because if you see them tapping on the front, tap on the front. If you see them tapping off on the back to get off, do that. Just like the restaurants, when we're in the restaurants, we're like, oh my gosh, what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to pay? Are we supposed to call them over, ask for the bill? Most of the time, we just watch people pay, and a lot of times they would literally just go to the counter and pay for their meal. So that's what happened most restaurants. So if you're worried about that, just to let you know, sorry I didn't mention it earlier because I didn't have that in my notes. Because I even remember I was like texting my friend who was Korean, who's been to Korea in 2019. I was like, what the hell are we supposed to do? But it wasn't that bad, y'all. Just go up and pay, or just ask them. Anyways, most of the time it's go up and pay. Anyways, back to navigation. There is service on the subway, which was a good life. Like, even if you're underground, there was service. Well, for me, there was, and I was thriving. Toronto, they do not have service underground in the subway, which is unfortunate. Like, what were the times? Like, when I was in New York, though, I don't know if they had service underground, but, like, every time we're at a station, at least the service comes back fast. In Toronto, there's just literally no service when we're at the station. So, that was great. You know what, y'all? I loved... I think if it wasn't so expensive living in America, with, you know, currency conversion and stuff, like, I could be thriving in New York. Like, I would be a New York girl. But it's literally just Toronto, but more expensive. But it was a fun time. Like, the transportation was a good time for me. I don't know. I like the format of the Toronto subways better than Korea and New York, though, because it's, like, just one long seat and everyone sits together. I kind of like the Toronto one because it, like, has like seats, and you can tell like this is for one person, and then one person won't sit beside you because you're already sitting there, so they won't sit beside you. I kind of like the Toronto seats better. Anyways, other than that, navigation, busing in Jeju, especially when we're going long distance, it was a little hard because the buses didn't come often, especially when it's kind of like those tall buses. I don't know what they're called, like highway buses, like go buses in Toronto. So we were like, you know, if we're gonna come to Jeju again, we should have a rental car, because literally the whole day, most of it was transportation, because it was literally 1 hour transportation, a lot. Moving on from navigation, not much else to say about that. The next one I wanted to talk about was the Korean style. As I mentioned before, I stuck out like a thumb because, you know, I obviously dressed super American, you know, also wearing these flower dresses, and it was, you know, awkward because here I am wearing all these bright ass colors, these summer dresses. Meanwhile, literally everyone, most people in the daytime in Korea wear like business casual, or they're wearing like a t-shirt and pants. I couldn't tell you about what they wear in the night. I feel like in the night they would wear like more different outgoing clothes, I guess I would say, especially in tourist areas like Hongdae, I guess. But most of the times people were mainly wearing business casual. Like, it would be a blouse and dress pants. That's like Asian style. That's what people were wearing. The girls were wearing. If you don't want to prepare for that, you can prepare for that. The thing is, my sister, even though she had like American clothes, she could buy what the people were wearing in Korea, but obviously I'm fat, I can't fit any of them, so that's why the next time I'm going, you know, I'm gonna know it, I'm gonna brace for it. I also saw like a lot of people in Korea, like they had kind of similar makeup styles, they also had kind of similar hairstyles, hair color, things like that. K-pop really alters what you think about it, y'all. That's why you shouldn't let the media change your perspective, because I was expecting to see a lot of blonde people as well, like a lot of like hair dye, hair colors. They're mainly brown and black, so yeah. Another thing I saw on TikTok was about thin walls, and I saw that a lot in the Get Real podcast with Ashley and Peniel and BM, and they were talking about how there are thin walls and the neighbors will literally yell at you. To be honest, in our second Airbnb, we barely saw our neighbors. We only saw like one lady, but most of the times we never bumped into anyone. I don't know why, so I feel like it was like kind of vacant or something. But anyways, there's thin walls. Yes, I heard in the train in the morning. That didn't really bother me. That didn't wake me up. On TikTok, apparently, you can't do laundry after 10 p.m. But I felt like I was doing laundry at like 12 a.m. No one complained. But maybe there's just no one there. I don't know. But anyways. Yeah, overall, we didn't have a problem with noise, to be honest. So I feel like I was just kind of in a more quiet area. I don't know. But there was trains there. Anyways. And that is all I have in my notes. I don't know if I'm missing anything, but, you know, if you ask a question in the comments, maybe I'll reply, maybe I won't. That is finally the end of the series. Thank you everyone so much for tuning, especially if those of you who stayed and didn't unsubscribe. I like to apologize to all the rest of the subscribers who are literally just here for my green screen videos, and I never post green screen videos anymore. What can I do, y'all? I just want to post what makes me happy. But we'll see how that goes during my unemployment era. I feel like I'm still going to be a very slow poster. I don't know. Because where's the motivation, y'all? It's time for my job search era. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning to the series. I'll see you in the next video, which is the New York vlog, probably. And then we'll get into the Japan travel series. And let's see if anyone tunes into that. Doesn't matter as long as I'm tuning in. Bye, everyone.
This is more than a crash, more than a like, more than a laugh. Baby, I'ma make you mine, and I ain't giving up. This is more than a crash, more than a like, more than a laugh. Baby, I'ma make you mine,
And I ain't giving up.
Don't run away,
Yes.
don't run away from the truth,
Hey,
cause I'm not giving up on you.
hey.
Don't run away, don't run away from the truth, cause I'm not giving up on you.